Newly elected president of the Trinidad and Tobago Manufacturers Association wants to double this country's production for export and manufacturing goods over the next 5 years. Franka Costelloe McKenzie says laying the groundwork for this is key on her agenda as the association's head. Mrs. Costelloe McKenzie was speaking at the TTMA's annual general meeting at the Hilton on Tuesday. Janine Browne reports.
Trinidad and Tobago has made some notable strides in the manufacturing sector, especially considering the economic climate, but still there's potential for a significantly greater contribution to GDP. The assertion comes from the new head of the Trinidad and Tobago Manufacturers Association, Franka Costelloe McKenzie. Referencing the World Economic Forum listing this country in position 105 in its 2018 Global Competitiveness Index, she says that some of the current happenings within the sector cannot be allowed to continue.
Not when just 5 years ago we were at 63, and not when Jamaica stands at 64 and Costa Rica is at 43.
One obvious way to expand the production, she says, is the zeroing in on foreign investment.
It is the fastest way to double output, improve the standard of living, and increase foreign exchange. And that's a task which must start with government minister by ensuring more economic freedom. And if we can start with solving one problem effectively, we can start a virtuous cycle, which leads to other problems being solved.
Meanwhile, Trade Minister PAULA GOPEE-SCOON assures government will partner with the TTMA to achieve the shared goal of sector growth.
We have to look at even those beyond the region, because what's the point of this is a industrialized nation, the market is small, 1.2 million people. We got to depend on outside, and we got to look at outside the Caribbean.
Mrs. Costelloe McKenzie also notes there needs to be a shift in the way we approach education to create a workforce that can satisfy the demands of the sector. On Monday, during a joint select committee of Parliament, Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Education, Lenore Batiste Simmons, said innovation would have prominence on the new national education policy. Janine Browne, TTT News.
A foreign exchange shortfall. It's a challenge financial institutions have been grappling with for the last 6 or 7 years, and demand for the US dollar continues to rise. The issue was discussed during a panel discussion or session at the annual general meeting hosted by the Trinidad and Tobago Manufacturers Association today. Chief Executive of First Citizens Bank, Karen Darbesi, advised players in the manufacturing and export sectors to communicate with their financial institutions so they know how to structure an appropriate finance package. She added, banks are tasked with prioritizing a limited supply of FOREX, but they must be given a clear picture of the business status to help them make an informed decision.
Trinidad and Tobago.
We have to provide foreign exchange in a priority manner, not solely to the manufacturing sector and to the companies that are facilitating export, with the hope ultimately that those companies would become net sellers of foreign exchange to the financial sector within a time frame, and not net consumers of foreign exchange, but within a time frame.
Started his working career
with the energy sector being the main generator of foreign exchange, it was then asked whether collaboration between the manufacturing and energy sectors can be a viable method of creating more FOREX. Fellow panelist Joel Pemberton, founder and CEO of De Novo Energy Limited, said it's possible but may be limited.
To a large extent, yes, but it'll be linked to, from an upstream perspective, it'll be, building platforms, pipelines, that type of equipment. So from that perspective, yes. So I'm not sure how big from a manufacturing perspective, how many of the members within the TTMA fall in that spot.